Hello, we are live from my kitchen today because I thought it would be perfectly appropriate to talk about different cooking methods and different cooking preparations from the kitchen. Figured we'd spice things up. So, on that note, just a quick recap from what's been going on over here this week. Yesterday we had our hot seat coaching, which was awesome, which also means that we are now officially in pre-sale for Fat Loss Foundations, the 12-week group coaching program. So if you want in on that, let me know and I can send you the information. So this was actually one that I got requested to talk about. So that was awesome. And so thank you for requesting it. I love being able to talk about things that you actually want to learn about. So it's amazing. Thank you for that. If in watching this, you have any other ideas or topics that you want to learn about, certainly let me know, and you know that I will get to it because that's what we're here for. Set the record straight about nutrition, right? From evidence-based, solid information, because there's so much misinformation online. It's confusing, it's conflicting, and you don't need to worry about it. Don't even listen to it. You know that you can get real information that's scientifically based from me in this group. So thank you for being here. Thanks for trusting me. So let's talk about best cooking methods, specifically to help it be healthy, whether you're trying to lose weight or even just eat for optimal health. Maybe you're trying to lower blood pressure, cholesterol, or whatever other health concerns you might be needing to eat more healthfully for. This is going to pertain to that too. And it's actually kind of cool because this was a part. So when I was in college, I was in a food science class, and it was a class and it was also a lab. So once a week we got to go to this huge kitchen down in the basement of one of the nutrition classes and do the lab portion of our food science class. And one of the weeks was all on cooking preparations, and specifically the differences between a dry cooking method and a wet cooking method. So going into that, a dry cooking method basically means that it's going to be the heat, the main heat is the source of the heat is the conductor to cooking. Conductor is not the right word. It's been a while. The heat source is what's cooking the food. In a wet cooking method, the heat source heats something else, usually a fat source, which then heats and cooks the food. So a dry cooking method is what we actually do want to be leaning towards when we're trying to keep things as healthy and, promoting health and weight loss and goals in general. So the dry cooking methods are going to be things like baking, grilling, air frying. That's one that we didn't talk about in the class, but it's new now and we talk about it a lot in the group and in my recipes and those sort of things. So did I say grilling, roasting? These are all examples of dry cooking methods that keep it lower fat and lower in calories because it's just the heat that's doing the cooking. Wet cooking methods are going to be things like deep frying, even pan frying or sauteing. So all of those are examples of where the heat heats up a fat source, which cooks the food. So in terms of making your cooking preparation in line with your goals, we want to be pretty conservative with how much extra fat we're adding to things, because especially if you're tracking your food, usually, unless you're being super nitpicky, we don't generally track every single bit of oil that is used when you are preparing a meal, right? If you're pouring some in a pan, maybe you track that, maybe you don't. So it can, actually, depending on how close you are with your macros and whatnot, it can be the difference between seeing progress and not, maybe a plateau. So that's something to keep in mind. What I recommend doing is, oh, and let me just grab it because we're in the kitchen. That's the whole point, right? So what I recommend doing, and I wasn't expecting you to be able to see my clashing tie-dyes. I was just hoping to keep it top level, but surprise. So, all right, so if we think about, like, if you're making a pan of roasted vegetables, let's say, and it's so easy to get heavy-handed with pouring on olive oil, and maybe you track it, but maybe you say, oh, it's just a teaspoon. Well, in reality, maybe it's been 2 tablespoons because that hand gets heavy when you're pouring it on there. Versus if you have like an olive oil spray, this is what I like to do. Just spray the top and then season so that your seasonings still stick to your food, and it helps to crisp up the edges and that kind of thing, but you're not drowning it in oil. Even though olive oil is a healthy fat, it's still calorie dense, which means it has a lot of calories in a small volume. So if we're not careful, it can add a lot of calories to your meal, maybe without you realizing it. So I love using this nonstick cooking. This is pretty much what I use for everything in pans. If I'm cooking anything on a pan, I use this rather than drizzling olive oil. Let's talk about air frying, because air frying is amazing, right? If anybody who has an air fryer, I feel like they are obsessed with the air fryer. And basically what an air fryer is a small convection oven. So maybe you've heard of a convection oven, maybe you have one, maybe you haven't, but basically a regular conventional oven, the heat is just like coming straight down or coming from, usually coming from top and bottom or whatever, or just top. And it's just that one direct source of heat. But in a convection oven, it's circulating heat. So maybe it's a fan that's making this heat, kind of go all over from all directions of the food to have the heat hit all areas because it's being blown around. And that's what a convection oven is. And so an air fryer is just a smaller convection oven. And so it's faster and it gets that nice crispy texture that we love about air frying. And it is a dry cooking method. So same thing with the air fryer. I just spritz this on whether it's chicken, vegetables, whatever I'm putting in the air fryer, spritz it with the nonstick cooking spray before I season it. And then that convection of the air fryer makes it nice and crispy and so fast, which is awesome. And another really popular cooking preparation or method or fun gadget these days is the Instant Pot, which is basically like a crock pot or a slow cooker, but it's a pressure cooker. So it does what would take maybe 6 hours, it does in 30 minutes, which is amazing. So you can make soups, you can make like shredded, tender, juicy chicken, which is another thing I love to do, is put like chicken breasts. You can even put it in there frozen, and then either low sodium chicken broth, or I even do like salsa, put it in the Instant Pot. If you don't have a pressure cooker or an Instant Pot, you can absolutely do it in the crock pot, just takes longer. And then you cook it down and it's nice and shredded and it's flavorful and tender, and it's great to have this nice big batch cooked source of protein that you can add to different things. So that is definitely, especially if you're meal prepping or batch cooking, super helpful. You can do so many different things in the Instant Pot as well. There's a lot of different settings. So there's even like a saute setting. So if you want to cook, or if you need to cook some veggies or sear something on there first, you can do it all in the Instant Pot. Cook whatever you need to cook, add the rest of the stuff, put the lid on, and then pressure cook it. So that's also really great for soups. It's fall, which means soup season. And last year, I think it was, I made a butternut squash soup. So good. I'm sure you can find recipes for those all over. If you want to see mine, you would have to scroll a while back, or let me know if you want it and I can tag you in it. So excited to make some soups, especially if you are able to make a soup that feels like it or tastes like it's been cooked for 8 hours, but it's only taken you 1 hour, which is incredible and a real big time saver when you are meal prepping or batch cooking. So we've talked about a lot, the difference between dry cooking preparations and wet cooking preparations. And in order to keep it lower fat, lower calories, we want to stick more towards the dry cooking methods. So yes, like crock pot and instant pot might feel, it's kind of like a wet cooking method, but it doesn't, we don't really categorize it in there because it's not a heated fat source that's cooking it, because it's like liquid, if that makes sense. If you need a little bit more clarifications, let me know. So like I mentioned at the beginning, we are in pre-sale for Fat Loss Foundation. So if you want to get in on the next round, we start the week of October 17th. We're going to have everybody who's in the group vote on what day and time their call times are best for, so that you get your pick of when the call would be most convenient for you. This is a group if you are wanting to learn the foundational habits to stop dieting, have those habits set you up for sustainable fat loss so that you actually like continue to see progress after the program as well. And if you thrive in that group environment, maybe you've been curious about coaching, but one-on-one is maybe not quite the right fit yet. This is a really good opportunity to get your foot in the door. It's a lower investment. It's getting that group support. You get weekly coaching calls with me. So there's a lot of really amazing value if you are ready to dedicate to your goals, ready to prioritize yourself and what you want to accomplish and stop doing all the crazy diets. This is especially valuable right now, because why would you want to head into the holidays like we like you don't want to go into the holidays in a worse spot. We want to go into the holidays in a better spot, feeling more prepared, feeling more confident, more successful, so that you don't have to wait until January 1st to make a New Year's resolution. Knowing that you have the support and that program to get you through the holidays so that you can start January 1st and already be ahead on your goals, like this is the time to do it for sure. So we are in pre-sale until Monday. So I will actually put the link for the application. So what you would do is click on the application, fill it out, schedule your call time with me, and I'll answer whatever questions you have about the program and hopefully get you all set up and onboarded. So if you have any questions about that, let me know. But if that sounds like something that you're into, you want to get in on, I recommend pulling the trigger, getting on the phone with me before Monday, or at least filling out the application before Monday, scheduling your discovery call with me before Monday so you can get locked into the pre-sale price. So I hope you have a fabulous rest of your Wednesday evening. Last Wednesday of September, last Wednesday of the third quarter, we are in the home stretch of the year, which is crazy to me. This year has been nuts. So if you're ready to finish out the year strong, I'm excited to have you in Fat Loss Foundations. And have a great rest of your night. I'll see you next week.